Okay, we are going to start 3.3. And let me get my pencil here. All right. 3.3. This has to do with finding equations. You're going to be creating the equation. Before, in 3.1 and 3.2, you were given the equation of a line and you did stuff with it. Now you're going to be given pieces and you have to find the equation. Now I want to remind you, y equals mx plus b. Remember, that was the equation of a line where m was the slope and b was what we call the y-intercept. Okay? So if I asked you to find the equation of a line, and I gave you that the slope is -4/5, and the y-intercept is 0, -2. Taking y equals mx plus b, my m is -4/5, my b is -2, so y equals -4/5 x minus 2. Done. All you did was put in the slope where the slope was and the y-intercept where the y-intercept was. Done. Okay? Let me show you how easy it is again. What if I said the slope was 2 and the y-intercept was 0, -3? Y equals mx plus b, or y equals 2x minus 3. Done. You fill in the y-intercept, you fill in the slope. Done. Now, if only it was always that easy. It's not. So let's look at what else it can do. What if I said find the equation, and I gave you the slope is 1/3, and here is a point that it passes through, -2, 5. But the point is not a y-intercept. How do we know it's not a y-intercept? Because the x number has to be 0 for it to be a y-intercept. So this is not a y-intercept. So we cannot use y equals mx plus b. So we have another formula that we use. Okay? And this formula looks like this. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay. This, and that. All three of those pieces have to be put in place. The x is part, remember we want it to be y equals mx plus b. The x is the x part in the y equals mx plus b, and the y is the y part. It's just the y, the x1 and the y1, and the m that we have to replace. Let me write this again. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And let's look at what we have. What did they give us? They gave us a slope. They gave us an m. Right here, they gave us the m. It's 1/3. And they gave us an x and a y. And we can put the little 1 with it. It's just the point. It is the y and the x in the formula. So this would be 5, and this would be -2. So you have y minus 5 equals 1/3 times x. Now, minus a -2 would be plus 2. Okay. Now, this does not look like y equals mx plus b. So the first thing we need to do, I'm trying to remember if they want you to put it in standard form. If they want you to put it in y equals mx plus b form, you have to do this. So you get y minus 5 equals 1/3 x plus 2/3. And then if you move the 5 over, you get y equals 1/3 x plus 5 2/3, which is y equals mx plus b. But now, let me rewrite that. Y equals 1/3 x plus 5 2/3. Y equals 1/3 x plus 5 2/3. If they want it in y equals mx plus b form, that's fine. If they don't, then you have to get rid of the fractions if they want it in standard form. Standard form is x's plus y's equal numbers. You can have any number in front of the x. You can have a number in front of the y. By the way, they have to be whole numbers, not fractions. And then a constant. You can have a number all by itself. Well, this is not in standard form. This I would need to say, first of all, 1/3 x plus 17/3. I changed this mixed number. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 makes 17. Remember, you multiply this way and add this way, and then put it all over that denominator, okay? Now, notice common denominator is 3. What's 3 times y? 3y. What's 3 times 1/3? 3/3, which is 1. And what's 3 times 17/3? The 3's would cancel out, and you just get 17. Now, this is crazy. I'm sorry, but this is what they want you to do. They want you to have it in this form. If they say standard form, remember this is standard form. They want you to have it in standard form. We can move this x over, so we get negative x plus 3y equals 17. But standard form doesn't allow the negative. So you have to multiply everything by -1 so that you get positive x, negative 3y, and negative 17. All that for standard form. And I realize that was a lot. I'm sorry. I am okay with the y equals mx plus b. Y equals 1/3 x plus 5 2/3 or 17/3. I'm fine with it. But if what you're working with in my math lab asks for standard form, you have to get rid of the fraction, move the stuff over, and make sure x is positive. All right, let's try another one. Let's look at another one. Let's do this again, and you'll see the pattern. Okay, what if I said find the equation, and the slope I'm giving you is 2/5, and it passes through 3, -4. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We're going to replace this, this, and this. So y minus, now remember this is your m, and this are your points. So y minus -4 equals 2/5 times x minus 3, which is really y plus 4 equals 2/5 times x minus 3. Now let's pretend we knew ahead of time they wanted us to do this in standard form. Well, to do this in standard form, it's easier if you just right now at this point look at the only fraction is here, and its denominator is 5. So if you multiply the whole thing times 5, 5 times y is 5y, 5 times 4 is 20. And then 5/1 times 2/5 is 10/5, which is 2. And that's all you have to do. Now, you got rid of the fraction, distribute, and you get 2x minus 6. Move the x over, you get -2x plus 5y plus 20 equals -6. And move the 2x over. And move the 20 over, you get -2x plus 5y equals -26. But remember, you can't have this negative, so we have to multiply the whole thing by -1. So you get positive 2x, negative 5y, and positive 26. And there's your answer in standard form. Okay. By the way, I'm wearing sunglasses because I have an intensely bad headache and my eyes are all sensitive right now, so that's why I'm inside wearing sunglasses. Anyway, all right. What if I said find the equation of the line that passes through -4, 3, and 5, -7? That's all they're going to give us. Now remember, our formula is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. We got a point. I got x and y and x and y. I actually have two sets of points. So I've got the point thing handled, but I don't have the m. Do you remember how you can find the m with 2 points? Remember, m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we can figure this out. We could figure out the m. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So what do I get? I get -10 over 9 over plus, which is -10 ninths. All right. So this is my m, and here's my point. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. All right. Standard form. Remember what I told you? What's the denominator? 9. Multiply everything by the denominator. 9 times y is 9y. 9 times -3 is -27. 9 over 1 times -10 over 9 is -90 over 9, which is just -10. And then I'm going to change these two right here to x plus 4. All right. Distribute. We get -10x minus 40. Move the x over. You get 10x plus 9y minus 27 equals -40. Move the 27 over, and you're left with 10x plus 9y equals -13. And you're done. Standard form. Okay. Let me show you another scenario that could happen. What if you are given, find the equation, and we're going to tell you that it passes through -4, 5, and is parallel, that's the symbol for parallel, to 2x plus 3y equals 6. Okay, remember I need y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I need a point, got it, and I need a slope. Well, I don't have a slope, but I can find a slope from what else they've given me. They said parallel to this. What did we learn in the last section? Was that parallel lines have the exact same slope. So what is the slope of 2x plus 3y equals 6? Well, if we put it into y equals mx plus b form, then we'll know the slope is whatever's in front of the x. So move the 2x over, you get 3y equals -2x plus 6. Divide by 3, and you get y equals -2/3 x plus 2. There is the slope, and it's the same. Parallel lines have same slopes. So I have a point, and I have a slope. So now I can fill it out. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, we have a fraction. Let's get rid of it. How do we do it? We multiply by the denominator. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times -5 is -15. 3 over 1 times -2 over 3 is -6 over 3, which reduces to -2. And then I'm going to change that to plus. All right, distribute 3y minus 15 equals negative 2x minus 8. Move the x over. 2x plus 3y minus 15 equals negative 8. Add 15 to both sides. 2x plus 3y equals 7. And you have the equation. Okay. What if this were the scenario? Last one. Maybe you can guess. What if I said it passes through negative 4, 5 and is perpendicular? That's the sign for perpendicular to 2x plus 3y equals 6. Okay. Well, remember you need a point and a slope. We have the point. We need to get a slope from this. What do we know about perpendicular slopes? They're opposite and inverted. So first we have to find the slope for this, which we did before, but I'll do it again. If we put it into y equals mx plus b form, we'll know that whatever's in front of the x is the slope. So if we move the 2x over by making it negative, you get 3y equals negative 2x plus 6. Divide by 3, and you get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. But perpendicular slopes are not the same. They're the opposite. So if this is negative, our slope is positive, and inverted. So instead of 2 over 3, it's 3 over 2. So negative 2/3, positive 3 over 2. So this is the slope we're working with. So now we fill it in. Y minus y1 equals 3/2, that's the m, times x minus x1, negative 4. What's the denominator? 2. Multiply everything by 2. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 2 over 1 times 3 over 2 is 6 over 2, which reduces to 3. And then we have this. Distribute your 3. You get 2y minus 10 equals 3x plus 12. Move the x over. Negative 3x plus 2y minus 10 equals 12. Move the 10 over. Negative 3x plus 2y equals 22. But we can't have that negative in front of the x, so we multiply everything by negative 1. So we get positive 3x, negative 2y, and negative 22. All right. Those are all the different scenarios that will happen. Okay. That's 3.3. Give it a shot and then look for 3.4. And I'll see y'all later.